Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. There's another human there, over there, over
Hello.
there. Yeah, I'm.
Can't see because we're podcasting. This isn't a stream, right?
Well, it's a video.
Oh, well, it's
You
a
know,
VOD.
it'll
It's
be
a
a,
VOD.
it'll be a video on YouTube's.
All
Um,
right, yeah, but there is a human here watching,
yeah,
waiting, sitting, chilling,
yeah,
existing.
all of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Cage. That's Chair over there.
Chair.
Um,
Hi.
yeah, we are the Nerd Ledger.
Yep.
And yeah, so today we'll talk about episode 5 of Skeleton Crew, because
Yep.
that's where you're caught up to. Damn, I
Yep.
rhymed. Yeah.
That's right. This man's a professional musician.
Well,
He's a,
no. I think the professional part of anything is the part where you get paid. And I think, hold on, I can give you the exact amount I've earned. Hold on, I got this. Um,
is it zero?
no,
You sold an album. I'm sure you sold a few CDs. I'm sure there's weirdos like me out there that like listen to really specific like your genre, and they dig deep. Like I always dig deep for doom metal and buy like really like albums that only have 100 views. Dude, one more dollar and that would have been perfect.
there you go. That's how much I've earned.
That was probably me, but I probably bought one of your albums. Is that me?
No, nobody's bought an album. It's all from just listening.
Oh,
So that's how much I'm owed. I haven't in 2 years. I've made $3. So I'm on a solid $1.60 a year that I'm earning through music.
mm-hmm.
I better put out another album soon because if not, that'll slowly go down to 80 cents a year. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And we're getting rich from this podcast. We're like so wealthy, dude.
No, that
Not my.
that yeah, that's actually a $0 that we've made. Yep,
Oh,
zero.
what?
Yeah. So
What?
between the two of us, zero whole dollars.
Damn.
Unfortunately.
Are you telling me my mom listening to this podcast 5 times in a row didn't boost her sales by like hundreds of millions of dollars?
No. Did
Up
your
in my
mom listen
fan.
5 times in a row?
No, she didn't, but I
Well,
told her.
it's probably better she doesn't, because she'll probably be like, I don't like that friend of yours. He's
No,
weird.
she'll love you. She'll think you're sweet. She'll probably think you're a good influence because you're married, and I'm single as a Pringle right now. So,
Yeah, but I
you
feel
know,
like on a podcast, all I really do is talk shit and get mad about things that don't matter, and then move on with my life.
it's healthy to do that here at least. It's better to do that here than anywhere else. And you delete all the old episodes automatically anyway, because we ramble about things you probably regret 4 or 5 episodes later. So, I'm
Yeah, I
just
don't
saying
delete
that's.
anything. It's just all there.
Oh, I
So.
thought you delete. I thought you said you deleted old VODs or something like that.
Mm, no.
Hmm.
I think there's like some episodes that were done on a different hosting site before that didn't convert over when I switched. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think I delete anything. As long as hosting is free, I ain't delete shit. But yeah. Anyway, um, I'm caught up through episode 7 of Skeleton Crew, and then the season finale is next week.
Hmm.
But we'll probably just talk about the last 3 next week then, and we'll talk about episode 5 today.
Yeah, 'cause episode 5, I don't know, kind of. I think it may encapsulate the whole show, like as like a whole. Like when it's all said and done. I think we'll go back to episode 5 and we'll be talking about it a lot. Just my personal opinion. We'll see
Yeah, episode
with each
5 is
episode.
yeah. Some of the mystery begins to be a little solved,
Yeah.
but not all of it, of course. Because at this point in episode 5, we're still not sure about all the stuff with Atten and whatever and all that whatnot. But we start to see some of the mask slip off of Jod or Captain Silvo or whatever you want to call him.
Are we gonna do the news first?
Oh, did you want to talk about news first?
Yeah, let's do news first because I feel like we could honestly ramble. I feel like you and I could ramble about episode 5 a lot longer than I think you're thinking. So let's do news first. Yeah.
TikTok is officially shutting down in the U.S., barring a major reversal. There you go. There's some news.
I think I installed the TikTok app once, and then I uninstalled it because it was annoying as fuck. Like it's just Reels, but the algorithm like picks up faster on like
It
what I'm
was
trying to
it
look
was
at.
Reels before Reels,
Yeah, exactly.
and
So
then now all Reels are TikToks.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I don't use TikTok at all, other than to post clips from a podcast, and I've never sat down on my own, opened the app, and scrolled through anything because I
yeah,
find it all to be annoying. TikTok is like the most unoriginal shit you can imagine. Like one person makes a video that goes viral and everyone copies it exactly. So like you
yeah,
end up, it's just like the same thing, the same 5 videos over and over. It's fucking
yeah,
annoying. And you can
yeah.
say,
When I
well, if you
watch,
don't like it, how do you know? My wife incessantly watches it.
yeah, I watch Reels, and my Reels goes between like food. It goes between like these slime videos where they're like scooping slime that like they made to be like very ASMR-y, like kind of slime, and sometimes it like looks really cool and they scoop it and it looks really nice. Sometimes it
Mm,
doesn't. You rate the scoop.
okay.
Anime. The fall. A lot of my news. I said I got a lot of my news through Instagram because I'm just scrolling. Like I'll see media news and stuff like that. Um, so it's like a mix. Like it's a good mix. Like it's not just like memes. Like that's another thing about Instagram. Sometimes they'll have like just images that's like in a slideshow on the reel, and it's just like memes. So that's sometimes actually that'd be kind of a treat because sometimes there'll be like some fire memes in there, dude. Really good
Mm.
memes, like hella good memes. So I'll check that out. It'll be fucking awesome.
All right.
You know. So it's a good little mix. Sometimes there's also hot chicks and cosplay on there too, so that really
Well,
helps.
I mean, also you don't really need TikTok anymore because literally every website has a version of TikTok, like all of
Mm.
them. Like Facebook has like Reels things, Instagram has Reels things, YouTube has Shorts. Like
Mm.
every single website you go to for social media has this thing, except for like Twitter. But even
Mm.
Twitter probably has. If you click on a video like that's posted on Twitter, you can scroll up and it'll be another video and keep scrolling up. So,
Mm. Yeah.
but
It's just the algorithm that, like, it's like a machine evolving itself, like, and that's just, I think, the apex of it is just really short form, 15-second videos. You and I forget that it wasn't TikTok either that started it, was
it's
Vine,
Vine, yeah,
very, very long ago. And Vine shut down because people kept making pornographic content, specifically like, teenagers and shit like that. So they just ended up shuttering it. That's what happened to a lot of the live real sites. I think TikTok was the only one that stayed open because they're just really good about blocking like specific like porn and shit like that. So
yeah.
it's just so why it's like again, it's still like the Wild West right now on the internet. It's still being settled one day at a time. I just I never use TikTok. Obviously, its influence spread. I think that Tencent just got declared like as a Chinese military entity or something like that. Like, and it's like tumbling on the U.S. Stock market, if I'm not mistaken. And Tencent is like one of the biggest Chinese gaming companies, on top of being one of the biggest tech companies. So there's a lot going on right now. It's gonna be wild. I think we're only in for the beginning. It's gonna be a wild 2025. Happy New Year, by the way. I don't think we've said that before to each other.
No, yeah, it's new. It's New Year, and it's the first
Yeah,
one we've done together this new year. So
yeah. Los Angeles is burning.
yeah,
Uh,
shout out to Los Angeles peeps. I hope everyone's
safe.
okay. But yeah,
My sister's 1 mile away from an evacuation zone. Like, I'm just worried sick. I try not to stress about it. There's nothing I can do except to sit here and stress. So I try not to stress about it, but it still just sucks. Because there's a chance that like everyone in that city could get boxed in by fires on all sides. And that's really fucking scary to think about, man. Like,
yeah,
it's really scary to think about. So it's just again, like you said, prayers to everybody. I hope the fighters, God bless all the dogs and cats and everyone down there. Everyone knows I'm still working in animal rescue, still volunteering. Not as much as I used to, but I'm still volunteering, and I just hope everyone works it out safe and okay.
yeah. I don't know what's happening, but like the encoding on the on your audio is going crazy.
What does that mean?
It's like grainy and then like echoing underneath it,
Hmm.
and so like it's not
We just
what
desynced.
it is.
We
Oh,
just desynced so bad.
but now your voice is good.
That's so strange. This is such a strange world.
Uh, yeah, this Yeah, my computer, it's just a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a
I don't
fucking
know.
potato. We're recording from a potato.
This is why I gotta, and then I gotta like figure out. This is why I gotta really try. I'm trying hard to get that thing set up by like maybe, I don't know, maybe Friday in the afternoon. We'll see. And then just do some stuff.
You know, I could probably just do this from my wife's laptop, and it would work better.
I mean, probably.
So it's like
Uh,
it's bad, and I know it's my computer because it's a piece of shit, and it has no capability to do anything.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Did you still want to tough it
Yeah,
out, or what's the plan here?
yeah. I think it's only like a 3 second delay right now, so
All right,
we should be okay.
we'll make our
Anybody
big
who's
bold statement.
still yeah, anybody who's still listening at this point already went through the trouble of all the encoding issues on the audio. So now we're here. Now they've
Yeah,
toughed it
we're
out, so now we gotta tough it out.
only the best for our viewers and listeners around the world,
Yeah,
our millions of adoring fans. Anyway, so TikTok shutting down. What else is going on else in the news?
yeah. So this is the worst thing to do when there's a delay, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna ask you a question, and that question is: did you hear that the Batman 2 got delayed another year?
Yes.
Okay. And so people are thinking it's James Gunn trying to stop that project from happening and interfering with the things he wants to do, which I think is stupid because if he wanted to do that, he would just cancel the movie. Um, but that's what people thought. And so there's some Batman news. Um, it really the director is just coming out and talking about things. And so I'll just read through some of this. So, um, Matt Reeves has responded to rumors about Robert Pattinson's Batman potentially joining the DCU. He directed the 2022 movie and a bunch of changes to release date. And so he spoke with a podcast, and he was asked what his attitude was regarding the matter of Pattinson potentially joining the DCU. He said, "It really comes down to whether or not it makes sense. I think what's been great is there was a really kind of a story I wanted to tell. We're calling it the epic crime saga and all that, which is the thrust of what we want to do. It's important to me to be able to play that out. James and Peter have been really, really great about that. They're letting us do that. What the future brings, I can't really tell you. I have no idea right now, except that my head is down now about getting the Batman 2 shooting and to make it something really, really special, which of course is the most important thing." So that's a nothing story. I'm sure you agree because he didn't really say anything.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, there's no reason for James Gunn to sabotage this project at all. It's one of the most popular things that's come out of DC in a long time. If anything, he should be working to actively work Robert Pattinson's and Matt Reeves Batman into the wider DCEU, and I hope he does. And again, I hate hate we're looking at the DC through the lens of Marvel Cinematic Universe, but here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. He was also asked about the Penguin season 2 potentially, and he said, "Obviously, we're doing the Batman 2. We want to get the timing on that right. Our plan and our hope is to absolutely do another season. We just have to come up with the idea that we think is the right idea, which is what we're working on." And then he also talked about Batman 2's release date change. He said, "This year we're going to be shooting, and I'm very excited about it. There's been a lot of stuff going on. It's taken longer than I would have wanted, but also I'm super excited about what we're doing, and I can't wait to share that with everybody." He didn't share any specific details when asked about the main villain of the Batman 2. However, he did say he hopes and thinks that the main bad guy will be surprising to the audience. He said, "I think the story is a continuation in a certain way and completely different in another. It's going to show different sides of Robert Pattinson, of course." And then he said, "I think it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be really cool." So there you have that. In other news, Silver Surfer actress teases the expansive universe for the MCU's Fantastic Four. her name is Julia Garner, obviously, and she reveals what it's like to portray Silver Surfer in the MCU for the Fantastic Four. I hate how they give you a bunch of exposition before they actually tell you what someone fucking said. That's great. Comic Book spoke to Silver Surfer actress Julia Garner in support of her new movie Wolfman. They asked Garner her thoughts about playing Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four, and if anything stood out or surprised her about prepping for the role. She said, "I mean, just how big it is. It's a big universe, and I feel so grateful I get to be a little part of it, to be honest. Everybody on that job, I think the casting is phenomenal, and they're so wonderful. And the director, Matt Shackman, is amazing, and I'm very excited." So again, she said a whole lot of nothing for them to write a headline that it's an expansive universe, which we already know. Got it. Okay. There's one bit of news that stood out to me this week, and it's about Jake Lloyd. You know who Jake Lloyd is? Yeah. He played Anakin Skywalker in the Phantom Menace.
Okay. That's right, the kid. That's right, the fucking kid that got like traumatized, like or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had to
So
go to therapy or something like that.
he was like a drug addict and homeless and stuff for a while. Anyway, so Jake Lloyd, the former child actor who played the young Anakin Skywalker in 1999's Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, told journalist Clayton Sandel he's feeling, quote, pretty good nearly a year after his mother opened up about his struggles with mental illness. Lloyd, who is now 35, provided Sandel with the update weeks after successfully completing an 18-month stay at an inpatient mental health facility in Southern California. As of January 2025, Sandel reports Lloyd continues to receive treatment at a new rehabilitation facility where he's free to come and go whenever he wants. He said, "I'm feeling pretty good considering these 20 years of time that have come to an end. I can now accept taking on continued treatment and therapy and my meds. Everyone's been very supportive." Lloyd was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia in 2008 and suffered what his mother called a full-blown psychotic break in March 2023. In the update, Lloyd's mother, Lisa Lloyd, told Sandel that her son has been making progress because he's overcoming a mental condition called anosognosia. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, anosognosia can be caused by schizophrenia and makes it so that someone is unaware of their own mental health condition or unable to accurately perceive their condition. The former actor, whose credits include episodes of ER and the 1996 film Jingle All the Way, added that good things have come from being admitted to mental health facilities for treatment. Hitting what he called rock bottom was necessary to, quote, honestly take part in treatment, honestly take your meds, and honestly live with your diagnosis, end quote. He said, "I don't have the time for feeling volatile. It's very much a cushion," when asked about taking medication. In Sandel's 2024 interview with Lisa Lloyd, she said her son was doing much better and relating to people better and becoming a little bit more social. 10 months into an 18-month stay at an inpatient program at a mental health rehabilitation facility. She also cleared up rumors that the initial reception of The Phantom Menace contributed to her son's mental illness and ultimately drove him to quit acting. She said it would have happened anyway. I believe that it was genetic, and his psychiatrist also agrees that Jake was going to become schizophrenic. Lloyd was 8 and unaware of the backlash of The Phantom Menace because his mom didn't let him online, revealing that her son, quote, loves all the new Star Wars stuff, including the Disney Plus series Ahsoka. People think Jake hates Star Wars. He loves it. She continued, people say he quit acting because of Star Wars. Well, that's not true. It didn't have anything to do with Star Wars. Lisa said of Jake, whose last acting credit was voicing Anakin Skywalker in the 2002 game Star Wars Racer Revenge. She said it had more to do with our family, and we were going through a divorce. Things were unsettled and kind of rough, and Jake didn't seem to have to be having a lot of fun auditioning anymore. As for Jake potentially appearing in a future Star Wars project, potentially as a cameo, like his Phantom Menace co-star Jar Jar Binks actor Ahmad Best, Lisa said, quote, Jake loved filming Star Wars. He had so much fun. I would love for him to get well enough to be able to do a little bit of something, and I'm sure he would like to do that too. He couldn't at this point, but you never know how much he's going to improve, so we'll see. When Sandel informed Lloyd of the online support for the Anakin Skywalker actor that followed the 2024 update. Lloyd said in the new interview, "The experience I've had with the fans is immediately therapeutic. Right now, it's still therapeutic. It's helpful for people and healthy. It isn't something I'd shy away from. I really do appreciate the time that's been taken on us. I'm very appreciative." So there's a nice little update, and I think it's good. Like, everyone should be comfortable talking about mental health with a professional or with people that they trust, and in not just our circle, right, the nerd circles, but in all circles, like, people struggle, and people are struggling in America and around the world more than ever, with the cost of things, and just life isn't always easy. So, be kind to people, and
even getting a job these days is really difficult. Like, if you don't have a job, it's hard to like go and get one that's like a long-term career thing that you can build into something real. Like, it's really hard to get a full-time job just anywhere right now. You have to jump through so many hoops and do so
absolutely.
many things. You can't just pick one up and like start running on full time anymore. It seems like a really hard ask unless you have like a really specific skill set, like a trade or something like that. Because I was just raised in a retail world in the early 2000s for a really long time, where I was able to get a bunch of retail jobs and make things work, and it's just those skill sets don't really serve me anymore, and it sucks. Which is why, again, I'm just gonna start streaming, 'cause it's the only thing I'm really good at.
Yeah, in the industry I work in, which is pretty much retail, but corporate retail, like, a lot of people in corporate retail did start like bagging groceries, or being a checker, or an overnight stalker. So, like, when you get to those jobs, you don't expect it to really turn into a career, but it can. The problem is, you can't be doing that at like 35 and hoping it becomes a career, because you don't make enough money to really support you to fully invest in that time, right? Like, you have to be working multiple jobs to support whatever life you're gonna live.
Yep, absolutely. That's the problem. That none of these places where you could take the bagger and make them into the corporate officer, sure. But the problem is, like, back in the day, that bagger was probably working full time. He wasn't being hired, like, starting off part time. He had to work part time for like a year before he was allowed to switch over to a full time position. He didn't have to do the seasonal fight every year to fight against seasonal people that were coming in and just working their ass off, and it's just. Things are a little different. Maybe some of them did like do part time for a year and then finally got put on full time, like, showing their dedication or whatever. But it just seems like that's really shitty. That's like the thing. Like, you should be able to work full time if you want to work full time. It sucks that those positions aren't available, like, from the get go.
Yeah, it's also a lot of times the exception to the rule, and yeah, like, a lot of times, like, you have to want it, and not a lot of people really have the ambition to want to, right? Like, to do more in the grocery world or the retail world, and even if they do, like, it isn't like, oh, everybody can do, or everybody will be selected, right? Like, it's a ratio, right? Like, I mean, it could be like 20%, it could be 25%, but not everybody's gonna rise to the top and make a career out of it. So, anyway, Skeleton Crew, episode 5.
And yes, guys, mental health is important. Take care of yourself. That too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, episode 5 of Skeleton Crew, our crew of children and Jod and SM33 arrive at this spa resort world. We'll get into all that, but yes, some of the events that happen in this episode include watching their parents, who have a plan. They have a plan to try to find or communicate with their children. Wim's dad is not very subtle. He is suspicious as fuck. We find out that the ship that they're on belonged to Tak Renaud, who's one of the most famous pirates apparently in Star Wars, or in this universe at this time. His ship was called the Onyx Cinder, and that's the ship that they are also on. Wim is sad because adventure apparently is scary and not what he thought it would be, and he misses home. And there's a lot of that's a very common trope in fantasy, when you the adventure, right? Passing through the threshold, and then you never come back the same, kind of thing. Well, we can talk more about that. Um, Jod is clearly over it and doesn't want to watch Wim cry about it, but he gives him some advice. That's not very good advice, but he tells him to forget about attachments and things like that, which is a very Jedi principle, but I don't
Yeah,
think Jod is a Jedi. Um,
I think he's an ex
he
Jedi. That's
also
what I think.
gives the he says the Qui-Gon. I don't even think that, but well, we'll get there. We'll get there. But
The
yes,
delay's even worse
Jod
now.
Jod does recite the.
It's so bad. It's so good. Keep talking now.
I think we're both delayed. I I I think we're both delayed. Anyway, yes, Jod says the Qui-Gon Jinn quote, "Your focus determines your reality," which is what Qui-Gon told Anakin back in Episode 1. I used to have that engraved on the back of an iPod video. Um, and SM33 has brought our crew to Lanupa, a neutral planet now, that has like adult activities or something, because they're not supposed to
Spa.
have children there. Um,
Yeah. And if I could say something really quick.
yeah, but it's like an adult spa.
Yeah. So for this, I think the most important thing is that the best shows, the best the best children movie I ever watched was Soul. And so, because the entire movie was about dying and being like coming to peace with like dying, right? That's what the entire movie was essentially about. And then like the great trying to like implement a cycle of rebirth or something like that. So essentially, that entire movie was a kids movie that was about death. So they spent the whole movie walking on eggshells, and they were really it was just like a masterclass, right? This is why Pixar is like the one of the greatest things I think to ever exist, is because they can just tell stories like this. And I think this really I think like the what's a like at one point one of the kids asked what's a concubine, and then the adult pirate says, okay, I'm done with the story, story time's over. I think that this episode like really will encapsulate the whole of Skeleton Crew, because it's not just a show for kids, like it's a show with kids in it. So the world is kind of adapting to the fact that there are kids like present at all times in like in the world around them. Like, and I think that that's something that's like really clever, and I think that's something that's really great, and I'm really gonna continue to enjoy the show. I'm gonna watch another episode tonight. I was feeling pretty down last night, but then I hopped in bed and watched this episode, and it was just really entertaining, and it was intense too. This is skipping ahead a little bit, but like there was the implication that some people this guy melted some people with acid. It's just there's like dead people everywhere. There's a lot of intense implications. I don't think it's just a kid show. I don't like it when people are. After watching this episode, I don't think it's just a kids show anymore, because it was really intense at some points. It really was.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a show that is more mass appeal than just for kids, and also some of the further episodes that you're gonna watch will also make that pretty evident. But yeah, they arrive to Skull Ridge Mountain, which is like a proper spa resort. We find out that Jod has another nickname, Dash Zenton, and he wronged this bounty hunter who calls Brutus, and him and his crew are gonna come and do whatever. But our team is like looking around to try to find Tack Renaud's fucking chamber or whatever. They have to solve this common little riddle, or clever
Yeah.
clever little riddle. It's not common, but
And
yeah,
if I could
it
talk
was
about a funny
clearly
moment really
about
quick.
the thing that pirates value the most. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and it's just Shmi in the very beginning, SM90 or whatever his name is. It was really funny that they had him like. I just thought it was really funny. They had him all tied up and everything like that, and they were asking him like that they restored his memory banks or something like that, and that's why they had him tied up, because he's acting like angsty. And they asked him like, "Well, I don't know where it is, but I know where you can find it." And he's like, "Well, take us there. Like, take us to the pirate base immediately." He's like, "Yes, Captain!" And he like ripped himself out of the bonds like immediately. Like, ah, man, that was a really great scene. And I also thought it was really sweet when they were sitting around talking about like telling the pirate story. Like it was almost like kind of like reminiscent of like the Ewok, like telling this like the C3PO telling like the Ewoks the story of the Battle of
Hmm.
Hoth.
When
You know?
C-3PO. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it was fantastic. So again, like this episode is really good. Just putting it out there, and in addition, we're finding out there's a sense of adventure. They're coming down to this adult place where there's a bunch of adult themes they need to tiptoe around because they're kids. Like there's the implication that the aliens are naked in the mud baths. So it's just yeah, it's It's just one thing
Yeah,
that
the
they're
banking
tiptoeing around.
clan.
Yep, yep, the banking cleanser. So it's a
Yeah.
good time.
There's also this big monster called Cathalops. And he's
Yeah,
really
that guy's a
cool
homie.
and he's helpful
Yeah.
and nice.
He- Yep.
Um, yeah. But yeah, they solve this riddle about something like the something you value the most, which everyone's like it's life, and I'm like, bro, it's money. They're fucking pirates. It very clearly
Yep.
was money, so they
Yep.
they pass the test, they get through the acid bath, um, and then they find like all this treasure and shit, and there's a lightsaber in there, and
Yep.
then Jod challenges Fern to the death for to be captain, and she has to yield because he's literally gonna kill her.
Yep.
And then yeah, then they escape through a trap door, and everybody escapes, and then whatever. So yeah, there you go. That's the whole episode. But yeah, very good episode.
And then Todd picks up the
Awesome,
lightsaber.
awesome possum.
Yeah. That kid has the lightsaber. He's holding it the wrong way when he flicks it on. Is really fucking funny. um. Go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, just the kid picking up the lightsaber is really funny. Jod, the captain, getting the lightsaber. Like, I really do think that he's an ex-Jedi. I don't know. We'll see. I have to keep watching. I don't know. You're probably ahead of me, so I haven't like seen everything yet. But I really just feel like he is a bit of an ex-Jedi because he's using the Force very, like, he uses it like a Jedi, like a real Jedi would use it. Like just a Jedi, like because there's this guy in Knights of the Old Republic called Boli Jindo or Jolie Bindo, I think his name is, and he's like this old Jedi living on Kashyyyk, and he used to use his Force powers to be a smuggler. And I think that like I think that's a very interesting character concept for Jedi that not a lot of people have explored, like an actual monk like in the world, like just using their Jedi power to like have a good time. I think that's but I don't know. We'll see as the story develops. But I think he's a very interesting character. Which again, let's clean. So this is just a really good show.
Yeah, I think I don't think he was a Jedi. I think it's entirely possible that his ability to use the Force is a sleight of hand thing where maybe he has some enhancement because the only thing we ever see him use the Force on is like metal objects. So he might have some like enhancement where he can like, you know, have like some kind of magnetic thing or force field thing to like, work on metal objects.
Yeah.
Um, because nothing about him seems Jedi-ish to me.
Mm.
Um, he like all he only cares about himself very clearly. He was willing to murder a child,
I don't think he's
just to
willing to
get some
murder that
fucking
kid.
treasure.
I don't think he's willing to murder that kid. I don't think he would have done it.
We'll see what happens at the end.
Yeah, we will. I think that's a good thing. That's a good show. We'll see what happens. Will he be redeemed? Is he a scumbag? Is he a good guy? Like, it's a good show. It's just a good show. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think mm, it's hard to talk about because I know some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I haven't
But
seen it to catch up. I haven't been doing the best.
like he does
Yeah, we'll see.
it's
We'll go
okay.
on. We'll
It's
go
all
on.
right.
We'll go on from there. We'll go on from there.
Um, but yeah, I think we can. There are going to be a few conversations by the end of this that are going to be really intriguing, and one of them is Aten, like why it exists, how it exists, and I think we have some insight a little bit because we saw them go to the similar planet at Akron, and so it kind of seems like it was kind of like an experiment kind of thing, and potentially that's what's happening with Aten as well. But like why does it exist the way it exists? Why is it only like a fable for pirates, for to think that like it's a treasure planet, and you know what's the purpose of keeping it so hidden? I think there will be some conversations about that'll be really interesting. Um, Obviously Jod as a character and everything surrounding him. will be interesting. Like these are still mysteries for the most part that we will have to wait till the finale to get some final answers. Um,
Hmm.
but really, those are the overarching kind of things. Every episode is just kind of fun and like
It is. It
interesting,
is.
and I don't know, like it's what Star Wars should be. Like it doesn't need to be crazy and intense and all this stuff. Like it's something anybody could turn on and just kind of enjoy. Um, and yeah, there's the mysteries, and there's also like the deeper kind of philosophical things and fantasy tropes of like you living your life in this essentially utopia, but where as a child, like you don't really have freedom. You grow up and everything's kind of laid out for you, and your whole life plan is there for you. You do this assessment, and you're told this is going to be your job, and you just like that's your whole life. And so you have kids like Wim who dream of having more freedom and going on adventures, and then he gets what he wants, and it's not how he expected, and
Yeah.
you pass the threshold from the mundane into the extraordinary, and once you're there, you can never go back, and it's never the same, right? We've seen this over and over in fantasy. We've seen it with Bilbo Baggins, we've seen it with Harry Potter, we've seen it in many fantasy novels and films, and like that's the same kind of trope, but in a new setting. And so it's even Luke Skywalker, right? Luke Skywalker went from this mundane life as a moisture farmer, and once he left that farm and got on the Millennium Falcon, life was never gonna be the same. So
Hmm. Exactly. And it's about adventure, man. That's what Star Wars is about at the end of the day. It's just an adventure. It's just a fresh coat of science fiction paint over some kind of adventure type story. A really easy coat of science fiction paint where travel is instantaneous and there's no time dilation or anything like that, and communication is instantaneous across great distances. Everyone's got blasters that one shot each other. Some people have plot armor, some people don't. There's all kinds of wild technology, so nothing's out of like out of bounds. There's planet killing weapons. There's whole planets that are essentially alive with the Force. It's a really great setting to write these kind of stories in. And I just hope we continue to get more of them. Again, this is like a shame that the Acolyte really failed. I really don't feel like it should have, and it should have gotten that second season. I really feel like they could have started to run with it a little bit. We'll still see about that, but at least hopefully we'll get something similar to Skeleton Crew in the near future. It's because it reminds me a lot of the first season of The Mandalorian. Just a fun Star Wars adventure. Like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau set out to make this fun Star Wars adventure with a Wild West bounty hunter style theme, and they succeeded immensely. You know, and that's yeah, that's important.
yeah. Well, and with Skeleton Crew, John Watts was heavily involved, and he did all three of the Marvel Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, which were all very, very enjoyable as well. So,
Hmm.
it's kind of like what I always say about these kind of projects. If you hire the right people, you get the right result.
Hmm. Yep. Exactly.
Anyway, you got anything else for this, or are we all copacetic?
We're copacetic.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's everything. Sorry about all the technological issues again. I'm gonna try something new next week. I think I'm gonna try something new. I think I'm gonna try to stream from a laptop that has an i7 in it and better graphics. Okay, how about that? Anyway,
Hmm.
hope you all do have a great whatever night, day, evening, morning, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. See you next time. Like, comment, rate, review, subscribe. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Hey, what do you think of this camera